Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Souls of the Job It Is podcast. And this is another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends. And the friend that I have on is a star, is a reckless star, a pegging star. It is Gizzy, formerly of the Dead Ass Girls. No symbol, just
No
formerly of
symbol.
the Dead Ass Girls.
All right,
Welcome
yeah.
to another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends. What up, Gizzy?
Wilkes, thank you for having me on here. All right. And for y'all who are missing the podcast, in case you don't really know why they call me Jizzy, it's because I stay fly till I die. Damn, it's been a while since I've done that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That
Thank you
was,
for
that
having
was
me on the show. I'm so excited. This is the first uh I guess podcast appearance I've done since the end of Deadass Girls pod.
now I was thinking of some people to have on because I just started a new season. And I was like, yo, what happened to Jizzy? Let me hit her up. So I texted you like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Right.
And we set it up and everything. Thank you for coming on. Yo, wrestling is back.
Yep.
Wrestling is back in front of fans. First things first, SummerSlam happened the past couple of days ago. What did you think about that? Tell me about that. Your thoughts?
You know what? It wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't their worst pay-per-view. It wasn't the best. It was decent. I'm gonna be honest, there's one thing that made it completely shit, which was the whole Becky Lynch thing. Other than that, it was fine. I got to kick it with my friends. We got to watch it, and yeah, it was alright.
So why do you think the Becky Lynch thing was bad?
So, okay, first things first. Kudos to Becky Lynch for coming back. Body snatched. She lost a whole ton of weight. Actually, she looks way thinner than she was before the baby. And you know what? That it's great to see her back. And I know that she had a crazy pop at SummerSlam. So kudos to her. But they did not have to do that to Bianca. And the reason why is because a lot of times when a fan rallies behind a performer, it does happen organically. Like the pop happens organically. Case in point, Kofi Mania. Like that came from the fans, and that shit grew organically because people wanted to see him thrive. We see him thrive for the one night, and then you shaft us by having him, you know, be defeated by Brock in like 6 fucking seconds. So it kind of left a bad taste in our mouth, in my mouth, anyways. Because with Bianca, it's like she was already kind of disrespected at NXT. They kept saying she was green, which she was, and she never really got to chase gold in NXT. She moves up during the beginning of the pandemic with her husband and his tag team. And then, you didn't really see her in ring until maybe the last couple months or so. I would say maybe the last 9, 10 months. And then, she's picking up steam, especially hot after an important feud with Sasha. Because I always had the theory that Sasha could not have good feuds unless it was only with Bailey. And then Bianca came and proved me wrong. I'm like, okay, Sasha can have a bomb feud with Bianca. But then, you have Becky Lynch come back during a pay-per-view, and then you have her win the title in the most disrespectful fashion. It was just like, I think that this could have been a feud that would have worked had they reworked it. They could have had Bianca win it or, retain it. And then that could have added fire to the feud. Like Becky is like, oh, well, I came back, blah, blah, blah. You're just a newcomer. Like, it could have happened in a better way. And I don't know what the reason is. I know a lot of people were showing hate for Becky. I'm like, listen, I don't think this is really in her hands. All right. I can't say that I hate Becky because I know someone else wrote this shit for her. But I will say that a lot of POC wrestlers, they just don't be getting the same love.
What do you mean by that?
Recently, I'm pretty sure you've seen wrestling Twitter. A lot of people are talking about black and POC wrestlers who they don't really get the love. And Brandy, Brandy Rhodes put up a tweet saying that, oh, y'all don't fuck with black wrestlers unless they have the title. And it's just like, the reason why that tweet was tone deaf was because there are plenty of times that people rally behind black and POC wrestlers, even without the title, just for them to have a decent fucking match. And when we do finally get them up there, when we finally get them to a level where they're being recognized by a wider audience, it's easily ripped away from us with a more palatable wrestler, aka a white wrestler. I'm not saying that every black or person of color wrestler is amazing, obviously. We just want the same level, like if we have great white wrestlers, I want a great black wrestler. If we have mediocre white wrestlers, motherfucker, I want a mediocre black wrestler too. Like, I'm not saying that we're excellent, we're the best. No, I just want an even playing field. But every time we ask for an even playing field, they be like, "Here, have it. There you go. Boom, they got a title. Are you fucking happy now?" And it doesn't feel genuine. It just feels like they just threw it at us so that they can take our money. Like the wrestling fan is changing. It's not just that middle aged white man from the Midwest. It's like it's a Latina from the Bronx, or it's a black kid from Florida, or it's a trans kid from Wisconsin, or whatever. Like, there are so many marginalized communities that identify with wrestling, and if they were being smart about it, not only would they try to choose someone who is representative of those communities, but they would do it with respect. I don't want you to be like, oh, y'all want a gay wrestler? Here you go. Boom. Pride event. All right. Wave your little flag. All right. Get the fuck out of here. Like, like, I don't want that. I want it to be organic. And WWE and a lot of wrestling promotions, they have a long, long journey ahead of them to fix that.
That was deep, man. I felt that in the soul. I felt little Malcolm X, real Fidel Castro right now. And,
You saw the Kofi come on out of nowhere?
the Kofi came up out of nowhere, and the eyes lit up, and it was like, ooh, it's woke time. It's
Like,
woke time.
Alexa, play Exhibit C.
You're an Afro Latina, and I want your thoughts on something.
Oh,
What are
man.
your just your thoughts? What are your thoughts when it comes to Latinas in professional wrestling? Because it's deep. Because I've heard many things from different sides.
Mm.
I'm black, so from my point of view, my optics, I feel wrestling is deep rooted in the Latino community.
Mm.
It's very strong, especially in the Mexican community. It's such a part of life. Like,
Right.
motherfuckers will pay $80, $50 for a ticket to a show in a hot ass gymnasium in the Bronx.
Dead ass, yo.
And
Yo,
it
shout
is
out
such,
to Mike St. Michael's, that Catholic school that be having wrestling shows in the basement.
yeah, like my boy, shout out to Vince Steele, he like wrestles at some of these shows, and they be having like luchadors and everything. They be having like little people as luchadors, and people are dropping like 50 to 80 cash. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about a family of 6
Yep.
each dropping this type of bread on this, and it's so rooted. But then I do hear um my Hispanic brothers and sisters talk about that they're not represented enough in professional wrestling. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of want to hear your take on that.
And that's actually a great question. And as you said, wrestling or luchadores, which lucha or lucha libre translates to wrestling in Spanish.
Ooh, I didn't know that. I know that.
There you go. So, um, the word luchar means to fight, right? So when people say,
Spanish 101, people.
right, yo, Spanish, yo, Jizzy is dropping the knowledge right here, right? So when someone say estoy luchando, it's like I'm fighting. So people, a lot of Hispanic or Latinx, they identify with wrestling because it has poor roots. Like, wrestling was not seen as like this big thing as WWE is now. Wrestling was literally how you and I see Uber now. You know, it was like one of those low level jobs that if you were athletic enough and you were talented enough, you did it, you made a couple dollars, you went home. Now it's a very respected sport because of its humble upbringings. That being said, with the especially in the 70s and 80s when wrestling hit Puerto Rico and a lot of those Caribbean countries, again, the respect for wrestling came about because they were wrestling in like Plátano fields and they were wrestling on top of somebody's roof or fucking Uncle Juan's pool and shit. Like, yo, take out the water. We're gonna wrestle right here. So, a lot of people kind of saw that as a way to bring your family together, bring the barrio together, etc. The issue with wrestling now as a corporate entity is that it's not always going to be fully representative because you're only going to get people who are palatable to your main market. Even though the wrestling fan is changing, the main market is still a white dude from fucking Minnesota. They may not understand when they see, an Afro Latin, like a Dominican walking up there with hella ass, doing flips. They may not understand an indigenous looking Mexican wrestler coming out, wrestling in the traditional style. Like, they may not understand it. So they tend to gravitate towards those who they're ethnic, but they're still palatable to the white audience. It is changing. I mean, there's a lot of great indie wrestlers out there who are changing the scene, and it's great to see. I mean, of course, we have our own representation with Damian Priest, and we had it with Mercedes Martinez, and of course, with a lot of the Mexican wrestlers who paved the way for them to go in there, we see it, but we still have a long way to go. Like, I want to see like a dark skinned Latina on there. I would love to see like an indigenous Latina. I would love to see maybe, someone who is of Latinx or Hispanic origin who may just not look typical. Um, it's gonna be a while because people need to understand that it's such a deep rooted issue. It's not only just the way you look, it's texturism, it's colorism, it's racism, it's homophobia. It's a lot of isms that surround representation. As much as we all want to say, yeah, I want to see a black wrestler, I want to see a Hispanic wrestler, I want to see an Asian wrestler, you still ostracizing them when they check into another box. Like,
what do you mean by that?
well, look at Naomi. Naomi is a notable dark-skinned, beautiful black female wrestler. She does not get the same level of love as Sasha Banks. I love Sasha. I love making fun of her. I also love doing the impersonating her voice. But Sasha benefits from her being of lighter tone.
Oof,
And
talk
people
about it.
People will see that like, oh, well, I mean, she's not really black though, because people think one way, like people still think stereotypes. So they look at Naomi, they think, oh, well, she's dark, oh, so she must be ghetto, oh, she must be this, she must be that. It's like, it's no, like being your race or being your ethnicity is not a monolith. Okay, just because Sasha's a fucking Star Wars nerd who's light skinned doesn't make her any black than Naomi who be eating the gristle off of the chicken wings. You know what I mean? Like,
that shit tastes good though, B.
Nah, chill. I don't do that.
You don't do that?
That's too much.
You're not Dominican, B. You're not Dominican. You're not for the culture. How you not eating the gristle off the bone?
My mom be eating that. She be like she be using the chicken bone as a toothpick. I'm like, that's fucking nasty, bro.
No, I be sucking that shit out, boy. Put that. That's the strength. My mom said it's the power.
Listen, she lied to you, all right? Your mom lied to you. She lied to you so that she made sure that you cleared your plate.
boy, I be so ignorant with the bone, man. Sucking the gristle out. But yeah, you raised the great point when it came to that. It's But I feel we're at a weird time because the reason why I brought it up was because what's his name? The masked one that's no longer with WWE. He was a Lucha House Party.
Oh, damn, I forgot.
You know
Lincoln?
who I'm talking about. They changed him like 5 times. But,
Yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
so he had mentioned it. He was just like, "Yo, the Latino wrestlers are being overlooked, and the Black wrestlers are united, and they're doing something. Ever since Black Lives Matter came along, you see them all on blah blah blah." And I was just like, "Damn, bro, this ain't it. This ain't it." And then I my Facebook group, the Job Tears Facebook group. There's one dude, I love him to death. Shout out to Sal. He's very outspoken. He's just like, yo, Latino wrestlers are not represented. And people can talk about, yeah, we had Eddie Guerrero and Albert Del Rio, but what else do we have? And I was like, you might be right, my nigga. You might be right.
I don't know if it's that they're not represented. It's just that they're not represented well enough. And when I say that is that we get the same thing. It's like, hey, let's get another wrestler who resembles Eddie, maybe the same physique, maybe with the Spanish accent, maybe they have the lucha background, and that could be Eddie number 45. That could be Eddie number 46, Eddie number 47, etc., etc. The issue is that, and I'm going to say this about the Hispanic community, is that we've gotten way too comfortable with letting the Black community speak for us when we're not even speaking up for ourselves. First of all, you don't need to shit on one community to big up the other. All right. If you're saying that the Hispanic or Latinx wrestlers are not being looked at, say that. You don't need to add another thing into that to bring down, because I'm going to tell you right now that I'm pretty sure the hatred and the level of vitriol that a Black wrestler, especially a dark-skinned Black wrestler, faces is not going to be the same as an Andrade or Humberto Carrillo. Like, it's not going to be in the same level.
Yeah, you mad Spanish. You roll your R's real well.
Like, it's not going to be the same. Okay, what? They're going to call you, the S word, and what? They're going to fucking tell you to get your green card, and, speak English and that. Listen, it's hurtful. It sucks. I guarantee you it is not as bad as being called boy or being made fun of, or, being called a slave or being called an N-word. Like, we cannot be comparing oppressions. It's all bad. But we need to fix our own community, and we cannot be looking at the others. Like, I saw that, and I felt bad. I felt sad because it's like, there is so much colorism and anti-Black sentiment in the Hispanic Latin community. That alone makes it why we don't have the representation. Because we have the same fucking looking wrestlers, because y'all are okay with it. Okay? I'm pretty sure right now, if we had a wrestler that looks like Sir Wilkins and he said, yo, I'm Panamanian, they're going to be like, no, you're not. You're Black.
Well,
I'm like, I could be both, but they're
to
like, nope.
speak on that, because I had to throw this out there, Bobby Lashley is actually Hispanic.
Yeah,
he's Panamanian.
He is Panamanian, but no, they're not gonna address that because of the anti-Black sentiment. They're gonna be like, no, you're just Black. I don't want to hear that.
I might tweet that out tomorrow. Just to say, I'll just put like, so does the Latin community accept Bobby Lashley as part of their community? Or we're not gonna do that because he's
right.
Black.
Is he invited to the baby shower? Is he getting the big plate with pernil with the Russian potato salad? What's up?
Oh, that's good stuff. Yo, speaking of Spanish parties, I went to one on Sunday.
I knew it was a Spanish party because you said Sunday. Like, motherfuckers got work on Monday. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it was my homeboy's girlfriend's, like, it's had nothing to do with wrestling right now, but I feel like I had to talk about it.
Nah, you're good, It's a coffee talk. We talking about shit,
Yeah, it was Sunday, and it was like a boat ride. And I was like, yo, this is great. But I have work the next day. And then like I feel Caribbean people in general are all the same because like there's always an after party.
Mm-hmm.
So the boat ride's over. It ends at like 5, and I was like, all right, we're all gonna go home. Nah. We're all gonna hop in the whip. We're gonna head to the spot uptown in the Heights.
Oh, nah. Listen, if
Oh,
you ended up in the Heights on a Sunday, that's the RIP call out for Monday.
I was like, damn. And then I don't usually drink, but you know, I had 2 glasses of sangria, like about this big,
Mm-hmm.
Hennessy, tequila.
Oh
Yeah,
no, you were mixing? Oh
I was
no,
mixing.
buddy.
I was mixing. But
Mm-mm-mm.
speaking about being mixy, CM Punk has returned to
Uh,
AEW.
yes.
Now, over the years, I have listened to your podcast. Maybe 2 years, whatever you, how long, or however long you've been around the
3.5 years.
3.5 years. I listened to it, and me and you share the same sentiments. If I'm saying it right
Yeah.
about CM Punk. So, what are your thoughts with CM Punk returning to wrestling?
Is this live? Like, how many people watching this?
It's only like one person watching. We're on Twitch. My Twitch is trash, so you
All
good.
right, yo, shout out to that one viewer though. Like, good looks. Anyways, we might lose him though. We're about to say. So, I don't personally really give a fuck about CM Punk coming back. I think he should have stayed his ass retired. Why? I'll say this. One, he's too fucking old. Like, I think after 45, sit down. We don't need you. You can do other things. Two, it's the jealousy, right? And the way that he handled leaving WWE that I have a problem with to this day. The reason why so many people fuck with CM Punk is because deep down inside, it's the same way as people who think that The Joker was a good movie. Deep down inside, they identify with that whole anti-establishment, anti-corporate. Oh, I'm different. I'm rebel against bro. How you gonna be against the man when you are the man? My dude, you a white man. You are at the top of the power structure. You telling me, oh fuck WWE, oh fuck wrestling bro? What? You are the establishment. I should be anti you. And the only reason you type is because you were not the man. You did not get the opportunities that John Cena has, that Roman has, that The Rock has. You were jealous. And that he was drinking the haterade so much. He was thriving in the hateration that he let that shit fuel his fucking career outside of wrestling. I'm gonna tell you right now, the difference between him and Ryback was that people didn't give a fuck about Ryback in wrestling, so they still don't give a fuck about him now. CM Punk is literally just a more palatable Ryback because he still be shit talking. He be dropping little gems here and there. He be doing little things that people eat that shit up. Meanwhile, I'm like, dude, he's chasing a bag because he thinks he deserves it. And you know what? That's not to say that he doesn't have skills. He had skills and he was great on the mic, but he did not have that factor that makes you the WWE face. And he's chasing that in AEW. And he's about to be into a rude awakening when he realizes that you got one ego, Cody Rhodes, against another ego, CM Punk. I would not be surprised if later down the line we find out that CM Punk left AEW, starts shit talking AEW, does the whole thing all over again.
Oof, that's a hot take, baby.
It's a hot take. And I said it on Twitter, and then I got my account fucking banned. So fuck y'all.
You serious?
Yeah, I said some hot shit about CM Punk. I was suspended for like 7 days.
I was about to cut this up and put it on Twitter, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that now.
No, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. Actually, fuck everybody.
I just want to get suspended because did I ever tell you? So, speaking of marks, no stands.
Oh God.
2 times I got eaten up by stands. So
it's the worst.
we did one episode. It was a while ago. we did an episode and we spoke about Alicia Fox.
Mm-hmm.
All we said, we compared Alicia Fox to X-Pac.
Oh, I remember that episode. I was watching y'all live.
Yeah. And
first of all, I didn't even know Alicia Fox had stands, so that's
she got some stands. So this is when I knew. Remember, we were speaking about in pre-production about if SoundCloud numbers are real, whatever.
Yep.
That was the highest listened episode of one of the highest listened episode of this year.
Nice.
And I remember we were getting DMs. People were on Twitter. One person screenshotted the Job and Tears page and said, "Make sure this," and put it on their like story. Was like, "Yo, make sure this page gets shut down."
What?
This, and then they said they called my brother, this Apollo Crews looking motherfucker, talking shit about Alicia. You should shut up.
Now Mr. Black.
And then they came at me too. And then the thing is, we didn't say nothing rude about her. We said, "Yo, she's dope. Does she belong in the Hall of Fame? I don't think so. Maybe she does. We don't know." It was never anything rude and disrespectful about her.
Mm.
That was the second time. The first time, I don't know if you remember when Kiera Hogan was beefing with Sasha on Twitter.
Yeah.
She did a whole live and everything. Now, all I said was, if I remember correctly, was, "Yo, it really sucks that the fans are pitting Sasha Banks and Kiera Hogan against each other. It's really bad because there's two black women, whatever."
Right.
Bruh, they lit me up in the mentions and the quote retweets. Lit me up. I
wish you had added me because I love cyberbullying, to be honest. So,
and I was just like, I left it on because it got some good engagement, and I was like, and nobody said anything like disrespectful, like, because it's gonna sound arrogant. What are you gonna say about me? I'm bald, I'm black. Like, what are you gonna say? Like,
the thing about stands and marks, because I've had a few, I've had to battle a few, and then I've taken it too far, and then they'd be like, "Oh, okay, you gotta chill," and I'm like, "Nah." Like, you go low, I go to the Earth's mantle. Like, I'm finishing this shit. Like, I'm catching a body online. I don't give a fuck. All right, I don't care. You got a dead grandma in your bio? Guess what? She's being used. Guess what?
And the thing is, you sometimes gotta do that. You sometimes gotta do that.
I'm like, yo, listen. There's no such thing as fighting fair. You come into a fist fight, I'm spraying my hands with pepper spray ahead of time. So when I smack your ass, you be like, stop. I'm like, see, I don't give a fuck. The thing about marks and stands and all these things is that people are so deluded in their beliefs that they never open the opportunity to listen to the other side. And that's the issue. Because those are the same people who be like, "Oh, we should all be friends. We should all be nice together." But you say some shit about their favorite performer or their favorite musician or whatever, all of a sudden, they forgot what nice meant. They forgot what cyberbullying was. Because now they're spitting that vitriol to you. I wish that people understood that you can like or love a performer and still criticize them at the same time. We cannot be holding these people to these fucking pedestals where they're infallible. They're not. They're gonna do bad things. They're gonna do good things. Like, you have to pick and choose what good is worthwhile and what bad is not. Alicia Fox, listen, she had a decent basic move set. And I will say that her Northern Lights suplex was my absolute favorite that anybody has ever fucking done. She did that shit clean. But Homegirl used to show up to the ring with the shake and go Dollar Tree wigs. And Homegirl used to show up to the ring sloshed as fuck. And I'm sorry, but I'm not about to be supporting somebody who clearly has a substance issue, one. And two, wasn't engaging enough for me to really rally behind her. Like, the whole crazy girl personality, it just doesn't work in the long term. Like, it works for a little bit. It's not a long-term gimmick. Maybe if she had people behind her who rallied against her and were in her corner emotionally, and maybe if they wrote her better storylines, maybe she'd still be here today. But again, you cannot be sucking your wrestlers like this, because guess what? When they do something bad, you're gonna look dumb as shit for defending them. I will admit, um, I got ate up because I had said I said that Alexa Bliss is fucking mid. And
Oof.
and I said this over and over again. But for some weird reason, this particular tweet really blew up. And I was ratioed out the ass. Well, like, oh, you're just jealous because you don't look like Alexa Bliss. Like, oh, Alexa Bliss is the greatest female wrestler. I'm like, no, she's not. She's blonde wrestler number 82. Her moveset is mid. She doesn't know how to take a bump for her fucking life. And she does the least. I'll give her kudos for, showing up, making her bread, and leaving without a scratch. That's a nice little grift. But you're not about to sit here and tell me that she's an amazing wrestler. When we got Bianca Belair, when we got Sasha, when we got Charlotte on a good day, when we got, Bailey, when we have Nikki, or what's her name now? Nikki Ash, whatever. Nikki,
Yeah.
when she was in Insanity. I don't know about this new gimmick. Like, we have so many other quality female wrestlers. Why are you actually standing them? That's actually my question. Why do we pick and choose who we stand? Is it because you secretly want to fuck him? Like, don't get me wrong, I want to fuck Roman Reigns, but even I know Roman's a dumbass sometimes. Roman was catching the hands from Braun left and right. That man caught that Office Max chair to the fucking dome,
He
and
did.
I fucking cracked on him. I'm like, yo, I'm not about to be writing for somebody when I know that they're not always gonna be putting out bangers. Like, I fucks with Charlotte. Even I could tell you, Charlotte has had many sloppy matches before.
Yeah, I fuck with Nia hard though. Nia. I already know how I feel about Nia. I already know how I feel
Let me
about
talk
Nia.
about your fucking wifey. Your wifey was walling the fuck out last night.
So let's talk about that. Actually, we still got some time before 9:30 because I got another one at 9:30. So let's talk about it. So everybody who's watching, the other day on Raw, Nia and Charlotte went from a wrestling match to a cat fight
Yo,
in the middle of the ring, live on Raw. So
they
Gizzy, let's
they were
talk about
throwing bows. Them bitches were fighting like they were at Rikers. Okay, like, it was lunchtime. One of the guards was like, "Oh, y'all got an extra 5 minutes, if you know what I mean," and they just fucking scrapped that shit. Listen, if something happened, I don't know if maybe Charlotte cut Nia off in traffic. Maybe Charlotte took the last slice of ham in the catering. Maybe Nia just, wasn't feeling it. Maybe Nia was having a rough day. But that match, like, one, so she took it was early on actually in the match. Charlotte took a blow to the face and it knocked her because, like, she fell and she had that look in her eyes, like that dazed look. And I think that she was trying to communicate something to Nia and the ref, but Nia was not picking up on it and she kept doing it. And I think Charlotte got pissed. Just from the body language, she was like, "Yo, what the fuck is happening?" Um it I will say it's refreshing to see women do it, because when dudes do it, like, we be hyped, like, "Oh shit, yo, they got real beef, they fucking hate each other." But when women do it, we're like, "Oh no, they're dainty, no, they're so unsafe, oh my god, they're gonna be hurt." Fuck them, they're fucking wrestlers, so let them fucking do it. Was it weird? Yeah, it was a little weird. Was it kind of fucked up? Sure. Was it entertaining? It was for sure entertaining.
I had watched it because I was at work and I was on my way home, and my phone wasn't working to pick up on USA. So, anyways, I heard about it. I saw it all over my timeline, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy."
Mm-hmm.
So then this morning, I actually watched it. So I'm watching the thing. I was like, this is a shitty match. There's no
Yeah.
chemistry. This is sloppy as fuck.
Yep.
But this is a fight.
Yep.
And I don't know exactly where it was, but it might have been what you were saying. But something happened in that match where somebody was just like, oh, this is what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the part that had me was when, because nobody talks about it. People talk about the two piece that Nia gave Charlotte. Charlotte smacked the shit out of Nia.
Yeah, she did. Now she had that Real Housewives of Charlotte smack to her face. And they
Yeah,
were mushing each other in the face. And I'm like, this is how I know this is not wrestling. Because you don't be mushing people like that unless you scrapping with somebody in real life. Even
yeah,
for me who has scrapped a few times, when you're mushing a bitch in her face, it's because you truly despise her.
yeah. And I was like, yo, where is this coming from?
The ref was also very confused because
Of
he
course.
wanted to intervene, but I don't think he understood how to intervene.
Nah. And those are some big chicks.
Yep.
Naya is big, and also like, fuck what you heard. Like, Charlotte's a big girl. Like, she's tall, she's muscular. Yeah, she's slim,
Yeah.
but she ain't small.
Right.
so, so, and I'm watching it. I'm just like, yo, this is everything. Because I had spoke about it on the podcast the week before. I was like, a lot of people don't respect women's wrestling. But this shows like how gritty women get too. Like, yo, oh
Mhm.
word, here's my receipt. Not take that. Take
Right.
that. Take that. Take that.
I will say though, it sucks what's gonna happen because I know that there's gonna be repercussions for it, and I know that Nia doesn't truly give a fuck because we all know she got her cousin Dwayne in her back pocket. And we all know that all she gotta do is send him a quick "Hey, you up?" text, and he'd be like, "Yo, I'm on there. Like, let me do some shit. Let me have my people call their people." And I know Charlotte about to be like, "Oh, word. Listen, my man's is at AEW. I could go with him real quick. I don't give a fuck about this wrestling shit." And I feel like they're gonna get away with it just
Of
because of how
course.
much power they have. But I know that it's gonna trickle down because WWE has this habit of trickle down repercussions where if the top people do something that they don't agree with, they find a way to punish everybody else underneath them. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing either shorter women's matches, less women's matches, or some women changing their move set so that it's not so quote unquote gritty.
Listen, I can definitely see that happen. Let me ask you a question though. Who got more political power? Nia Jax or Charlotte?
Ooh, good question, Wilkes.
And why?
Who got more political power? Naya. I'm gonna tell you right why.
Mhm.
Naya was able to go to NXT for like what, 2 months maybe? 2, 3 months? She only wrestled 1 year professionally. In NXT for like a couple weeks. Ended up on the main roster. Even after being such a sloppy, basic ass wrestler. She came back from tearing both ACLs, and that bitch has been in the title picture, whether it's tag team or otherwise. Also, need I forget, anytime WWE highlights Nia, we are always talking about her auntie. Who is her auntie? None other than Dwayne The Rock Johnson's mother. I bet you right fucking now, if Nia Jax said, "Hey, I don't like Charlotte. You're gonna have to do something about it." They're gonna be like, "Oh, but it's Charlotte Flair, blah blah blah." Listen, all she gotta do is complain to her mom. Her mom is gonna complain to her, you know, to her homegirl, her auntie. Auntie's gonna whisper a little something to Dwayne. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden we got Dwayne the Rock Johnson doing some fucking online tweet like, "Wow, love seeing Naya doing XYZ," and then WWE sucking the shit out of that, and then yeah. I already
Yeah,
know. I
I
already
think,
fucking know.
I think you're right, and I also think it's because the Samoan family
Hmm.
low key runs WWE, and they've been doing it for years. Speaking of Samoans, Roman Reigns has officially passed 1 year as champion. Let's talk about it. What are your thoughts of Roman Reigns? What are your thoughts of him currently as a top heel and face of the company?
Claps all around. Claps
She's been
all
a huge
around.
Roman fan, by the way. So for people who don't know, she has always been a Roman fan before the heel turn.
Speak on it. Speak on it, Sir Wilkins. I have been a fan since he was in NXT. Okay, and I used to clown him all the time, per usual, of course. But always saw the potential in him. And actually, when we used to have the podcast, Dead Ass Girls podcast, we used to always talk about how, yo, if you let him just talk, you let him be himself, he's gonna shine. Guess what? Here we are. I think it's great that he finally has found his footing, that he's found his comfort, he's found his place, and he's refined his move set a bit. I think that he had a lot of self doubt because of the fan response, and I think that he had a lot of self doubt because he was still in the shadow of his famous relatives. Um, what I also think is that it took a major turn in his life, um, and unfortunately, it happened to be an illness, a major illness. I think that's what clicked in him. Like, hey, I cannot live a life full of regrets because I only have one life and it might be taken away from me. And I think he realized that, I have this one shot to do it how I want so that I don't become a 40, 50, 60 year old still trying to do it, still trying to get a kick up in it just because I didn't work at anything at all. I think it's the right move. He has the support, I'm sure, of the higher ups. He has Paul Heyman in his corner. He has his cousins in his corner, and it's organic. It's one thing if you have, excuse me, it's one thing if you have a heel who you kind of know, like, oh, I know that when the camera's cut off, he's probably a big old softy. Roman's a fucking Gemini. That man means what he fucking says. Gemini men are fucking toxic. You think this is promos he's cutting? Nah, that's him. That's him on a regular Friday. He's really cutting everybody's ass. He actually hates all of us, and I'm here for it.
I think he really does. Um, let's get to the last segment of the show.
Yes, sir.
Um, the coffee shots. So, first question is, what are you currently loving in professional wrestling?
Okay, good question. What I'm currently loving, I think, damn, that's a hard question. What am I loving in wrestling? I'm gonna have to say just uh, the uncertainty of it. Like,
Ah,
you have WWE pulling switcheroos on us. Like, I remember I used to be able to watch Raw and SmackDown and predict what was going to happen, and then I've been pleasantly surprised. So I think it's the uncertainty, and even in
mm.
NXT, like, I truly was not expecting for them to have Karrion Kross fucking lose and bring him up the way he did. Like, that was something I was not expecting at all.
I mean, let's
I
on another.
know
That's a
how you
whole.
feel about Karrion.
I so before we move on to the next question, when it comes to carrying, I think when he first came in, I thought he was perfect for WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had the look, he had the size, he had solid mic skills. His in-ring ability was very polished, was very safe, but very aggressive type of WWE style. The one that's like, it's not too over the top, not too much flippy shit. It gets it right to the point. But the more and more he was on NXT, the more and more he got exposed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You are
And
fucking right about that.
And it was, and then you start wondering, was he a big fish in a small pond when in the independent scene, and then
Right.
slash Impact? Because with the way that he looks, of course he's going to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have 20 other carrying crosses on NXT,
Yeah.
you kind of have to work twice as hard. And one of the biggest things when they exposed him when they took Scarlett away from him.
Yeah.
And made him come out by himself, and it was like, oh shit, what is this? Then also when Adam Cole ate him up on the mic.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, the case is still out on Karrion for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could potentially do something. I think they're trying to figure out what to do with him. They got rid of Scarlett because like Scarlett literally was his crutch. Somebody mentioned my homeboy Keith. Shout out to Keith Mack. He was just like, they're doing a Mark Merrill situation where they're gonna
okay.
use him, but they're really trying to just get Scarlett
right
and blow her up. But I still think he has potential to do something. I think he's the future of the business if done correctly. Like I love Keith Lee and I also hate Keith Lee. So I think that's another example of that, of being a big fish in the independent scene, and then you come to the big stage and you're kind of like, oh shit.
Right.
But we'll see more of that. But next question, next shot. What do you hate in professional wrestling right now?
Yeah. What do I hate in professional wrestling? So I'm gonna have to say it's the plain hot potato with titles. I don't really I'm not liking the short title reigns because to me it feels like people are just chasing a record and not actually putting meaning to the title reign. So that's why with Roman, it's like, it's great to see him hold it for so long. And not only is he holding it for long, but it has meaning. Like the story of how he first came back and being, tribal chief to now, it's like, it makes sense. It makes fucking sense. Versus like Charlotte's title reigns, it's like she's just trying to catch up to her dad's record, and I'm like, yo, it's not really. The math is not mathing. It's not.
It's a good point. It's a good point. There is a lot of hot potato, and Charlotte's the queen of hot potato. Like I was surprised she still has the title. I thought she was gonna lose her on Raw.
Right.
Honestly speaking.
Right.
But she lost some brain cells after getting punched in the head by Nia.
And she almost lost them implants too. I saw that fucking vein popping out of her left titty.
Oof. I still think how weirdly she looks to everybody. Basically, she's a good-looking woman. She's an acquired taste for most.
She's an acquired taste.
But I think she's a good-looking woman.
She's beautiful. Whoever, this is off topic, but WWE Glam got to get their shit together because nobody knows how to do stage makeup. And that's the issue, is that stage makeup, because of how hot and bright those lights are, you got to overdo it sometimes so it pops out. There be days where Charlotte looks immaculate in the face, and they be days where Charlotte looks like Rick in the face. It also doesn't help that because she is such a rectangular shaped woman, because she has that long board back and front, the implants kind of actually enhance the long board effect, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
I feel like if she hadn't gotten the implants, I think she would have just been fine, to be honest. Also, because she's doing such an impact sport, like, she's gonna have to constantly get them redone, because eventually, like, the elasticity, like, it loses. And if you go back to watching yesterday, like, you could see where there's like the natural fat of the boob, and then you see that like circular-ish shape of where the implant is sitting.
Yeah. But she got money. She'll keep doing it.
Yeah, she'd be all right.
So last thing on the list before we go is, what is your hot coffee take of the day?
Ooh, you mean you telling me as if I didn't already drop that CM Punk one earlier?
I mean, I would like another one.
Mm. Let me get a little bit of iced chai. Okay.
Mhm.
Hot take. Hot take. Ladies and gentlemen of Coffee Talk family, whoever y'all are, AEW is not good.
Wow. Wow. That was rough.
You said hot take.
Yeah. Well,
AEW is WCW,
oof.
but worse because they have more money. And people who have too much money to spend and do not know how to spend it tend to end in peril. Okay. AEW is a circle jerk with Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and all his friends. There it is.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Um. Wow. That was a dead
Is that
ass
the
girl
hottest
answer.
coffee take you've had?
That was a dead ass girl answer. That was a dead
There
ass
you
girl
go.
answer.
Yeah,
That was a dead ass girl answer.
yeah.
Sugar Jerks is wild. I'll talk about some stuff off air. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was another great episode with the homie Gizzy, formerly of Dead Ass Girls Podcast. And I'm your boy Sir Wilkins. Gizzy, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
If you want more hot takes from a former deadass girl, still a deadass girl at heart, you can follow me on Twitter, which is at deadassjizzy, GIZZY.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends.
Peace.